Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about velocity banking and demographics. If you have no idea what velocity banking is, go ahead and click the link down to Velocity Banking 101 down below. Watch the video, get a firm foundation what the concept is about, and then come back here to continue your studies. So, once upon a time, after I graduated high school, if somebody had introduced to me the concept of velocity banking, I probably wouldn't have cared, right? It probably would have just went through one ear and then out the other. Because, I was excited about, I guess, going to college, at least, after having graduated high school. And I thought I would learn something worthwhile in college. And, if something like velocity banking was introduced to me, why wouldn't they teach us there? If my family or whoever is excited about me going to some college, um, is it more about the hype or is it more about what we actually learn? And all of society just kind of falls for hype, right? And so there's going to be a point where as you get older, you'll realize that the system will screw you over, and it screws over many, many people, both young and old, right? And I talk to a lot of you who are getting, I'll say, more experienced in wisdom and age, and needing, or wanting mentorship from someone like me, and wanting to kind of pick my brain about, whatever stuff I talk about in the channel. And one of the things that I found that as I've gotten older is that it's actually easier to help people who are more experienced in wisdom and age than, let's say, someone who's just graduated high school. And I remember hearing this from like a YouTube video a long time ago that like, oh, most successful people don't want to help other people. And these are the type of like successful people where like they start out with nothing, worked very, very hard, were almost about to lose everything, and they somehow were able to make it. And the reasons why that they don't want to help most people is because they invest their time and energy into mentoring somebody else. They don't take action, and then that person accuses, let's say, the mentor of either trying to use them or being some kind of a dick or something like that. And so I don't think I've gotten to that point yet, but I could kind of see myself getting there because sometimes I do try to share some ideas with younger people, and I notice just this blank stare that I get. And it reminds me of this scene from The Simpsons where the teacher's trying to teach Roman numerals, and then the kids just do whatever, and she's like, "Whatever, I tried." And I don't smoke, but I get the feeling of just saying whatever I tried. I don't care anymore, but I kind of do, right? Which is why I have the channel. But it's just my sentiment dealing with younger people. Now, let me just kind of give a brief explanation of why it's so hard to teach younger people velocity banking. And, this isn't like an exact, like, these are the only three reasons why they wouldn't be, but this is just like off the top of my head why I think a lot of them wouldn't be interested. So many young people are true believers of the system. And what I mean by that is when you present them evidence that the system doesn't work, it goes through one ear and out the other because that's what their social conditions that they experience for many years throughout the formative years of their life, right? So I call this they're still at a point where they have the luxury of being delusional, right? And one of the things that well, two of the things that allows them to have the luxury of being delusional is just really two things: student loans, where if you just have a pulse and for whatever reason the government doesn't really look at your credit, um, you get massive student loans to go to college, but at the same time maybe they know they got you on the hook because the only way you can never get rid of those student loans is by working one of those 10-year government programs. And I think according to Dave Ramsey, 98% of the people who apply for student loan forgiveness through government programs get rejected. But they get you on the hook with the student loans, and they're like the only type of loan that's not bankruptable, right? You can't declare bankruptcy. But, think about this, if you're an 18-year-old, and I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but it seems like it's true because I've never done this before. If you're 18 years old and you start a business with like, loans from the bank, and then you fail in like 1 or 2 years, you can declare bankruptcy and you're scot-free, right? But you can't do that with the student loans. Funny how that works, right? The other reason that you have the luxury, or any young person has the luxury of being delusional, is that you can live with your parents, right? And I did that for many, many years. In fact, a lot of it to me was just, in my case, was probably just depression and having worked so hard from like high school and college and seeing like absolutely no real benefit to me, and just me being angry that I worked hard and got nothing out of it. I just kind of, for many years, I just didn't really do anything. And like I said, I probably was a true believer of the system at the time because I had to be, because people forced me to forced me to study and do this and go to college. And so if college didn't teach me anything worthwhile, which it didn't, I would have had a mental breakdown, which I did, right? And so but at the same time, a lot of young people, even at the face of like the system, if you show them evidence to their face, like the system doesn't work, you got to do something else. They just keep on going. It's like being a prisoner, and you're a prison guard, right? Maybe you're a teacher or something, or a parent or whatever. You're trying to show your kids like, hey, like, um, you know, life's better outside of prison, and they just don't see it, right? They just don't see it because they've been in that prison. It's kind of like the allegory of Plato's cave, if you never heard of it. I'm not gonna go too much in detail about that, but basically, you show them evidence that the system doesn't work, they don't respond to it for some reason. Unlike the older people, and I think because the older people have been abused by the system, they're more open to other ideas like velocity banking. But let me go back here to the YouTube channel demographics, and I just want to show you something very interesting. So if we go into here to advanced, YouTube has a very powerful, I guess, I don't know what you call it, statistics chart about, who's watching your content for how long, what's the traffic source, what's their age. I'm going to show you this, viewer age, right? And look at the people and the percentage of people who are watching this YouTube channel, right? So when the 18 to 24 demographic range, less than 1% of all the viewers in the last 28 days is in that range. So anybody who's in college or a little bit after college, no interest in velocity banking. We have a little bit more interest afterwards. I would call this maybe like your prime working age, right? 25 to 34. And then you're maybe here you're in middle management, upper management. Here you're definitely in upper management, or maybe you're kind of getting close to retirement. And then here you're definitely close to retirement. And so you can kind of see that in this is like the peak of the demographic that's interested in velocity banking, right? And we have plenty of people, definitely more than the 18, 24-year-olds, who are interested in learning about velocity banking, just because at this point in life, even though you should be making more money, sometimes the check, there's just more month than there is check, right? And I'm not criticizing anybody. Like, hey, I wish I learned this myself at this age. I just was not in the right environment, and because my mentors and teachers and any authority figures were just clueless, they were leading us down the wrong path, right? So let me just kind of go back here. So let me kind of show. So if we look at this one right here, create your own velocity banking spreadsheet, right? So this is the second most popular video on the channel. Let's just go into the age demographics. Oh, wait, I'm getting confused. All right, so let's just go in here, advanced mode. And then if we go to viewer age, right, we see nobody in the 18 to 24-year-old demographic having watched this video, right? So we see a little bit in the youngest demographic is 25 to 34-year-olds, so maybe late Gen Z, early millennials. And then this is kind of like later millennials and maybe, I don't know, early Gen X, and then later Gen X. And this is like kind of like the later Gen X, and then baby boomers, maybe. So again, I can't remember which generation which, but all I'm saying is that there's absolutely, like, see, here's the thing, I'm not if you found this video, it's not because I did a mass marketing campaign of velocity banking. It's because I'm essentially riding the wave, and other people are trying to find solutions to their what we call, like, financial issues, right? And because at this age, it's unfortunate that people who are byproducts of the school system, right after they graduate college, like this would be, or high school, this would be the best age to learn about velocity banking. And then, by the time you're like 25 or 26, you completely own your own home. Um, People have to look in many years because, they're paying many monthly payments on the mortgages. Like none of it goes to principal. What's going on, right? Um, but that's really what it is. And again, this, I don't know the reasons why, but again, this is just some of my guesses about what's going on, about the type of people who are wanting to learn about velocity banking. But it's certainly not the young people. It's certainly not the young people because, again, they're at the point where their lives there, I think, because they can be delusional. Even though this would be a great thing to learn at their age, it's just when you're just much older and you realize, hey, the system doesn't work for anybody, like, young or old. But it's more of a realization as you get older. It's probably why you're watching the videos on this channel. But I think it's very interesting because even though I learned about velocity banking in my late 20s, and I didn't apply it until like 2 years ago. I think, yeah, 2 years ago. And I see it. It's like, wow, I didn't realize, like, paid off 25% of my mortgage in a year, blown away. And sometimes you want to share it with the younger folks, and you see crickets, and it's like, whatever, I tried. But again, and I think that's kind of my fault as well, because maybe at this stage, maybe there's always going to be a struggle that you have in your life. So maybe at this stage of my life, I don't have any financial struggles anymore, but it's going to be other struggles where you do want to help other people, but the people you want to help don't want to listen, right? And that's a great burden, because it's like telling myself, like, oh, I'm gonna put myself through pain for no real obvious gain, to a group of folks who don't want to listen. And so sometimes, like, and I say this once in a while on the channel, I just don't want to leave my house because I don't want to deal with the nonsense, right? But sometimes you got to do it. You got to do it, and that's kind of like my main struggle, where it's like I got to help other people, even if they don't want to be helped, right? It's right now, that's the battle I have inside my head. Okay, well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the link down below to the Google form and submit your information, and we'll get on a one-on-one Zoom call for an introduction. If you have any questions you want to send by email, go to the About page of the YouTube channel, and you can send us an email there. If you have any questions, comment them below, and we will speak next time.